Hi and welcome back to the countertop. And today I'm doing tortellini in brodo from Flour+Water. Hi and welcome back. And the recipe I'm doing today is from this book, Flour+Water by Thomas McNaughton. The book has the same name of the Flour+Water restaurant here in San Francisco, which is a super Italian restaurant based on mostly pastas and some pizzas. I recommend you to go if you are in San Francisco or if you're coming to visit San Francisco. It's a very interesting restaurant. The book itself is divided into recipes based through the season. So you have like this huge balance between the difference of the fillings and the sauce overall. The recipe that I'm doing today is a tortellini in brodo, a perfect recipe for us during this winter time. So I think you guys will enjoy this recipe. I personally love tortellini in brodo. So let's go for the ingredients. So let's start making the dough. The dough itself has 4 steps. The first one you mix, then you knead. After that you let the dough to rest, and then you finally open the dough. For the dough, in terms of ingredients, here's everything that we need. It's super simple. Because we're doing a dough that is basically to support a filling, that's why we are adding more eggs and mostly more egg yolks than actually full eggs. All right, so let's go. You're gonna need 360 grams of 00 flour, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 2 large eggs, 5 egg yolks, and 1.5 teaspoons of olive oil. So to make the dough is very simple. You're basically going to need 1 fork, and if you have a bench scraper, it's also good. But the way the book tells you to make the dough, it's basically you put all the flour in your work surface and use your bench scraper. You bring everything to the middle and quite making a bowl for the eggs and for the olive oil in the middle. But first, let's sprinkle all the salt in the flour. And very slowly you start adding the eggs into this bowl, and using the fork, you kind of like beat the eggs inside in the middle, and you're gonna see that this is slowly going to become a paste. Now you add the olive oil. Now it's time for you to slowly tear down a little bit of the walls of this bowl and add some extra flour to the mixture. Now it's time that you can use your bench scraper pretty much to start mixing everything. And you're gonna mix these until you have 1 ball of dough. Now that you have everything in pretty much a big bowl and your hands are already dirty, you're going to knead these for 10 to 15 minutes until you have like a very nice yellow and golden kind of like Play-Doh. Okay, so let's go to the work. Yeah, that's quite a huge effort here. Keep in mind that it's virtually impossible for you to over knead pasta dough. But it's very easy for you to under knead. Now that you have your beautiful and well kneaded dough, you're gonna get some plastic wrap. You're gonna cover these really well. And you can save these in your kitchen for 30 minutes before we start. We actually not can, but you must let these rest for 30 minutes in your kitchen before we start. Or if you just want to do the dough today and tomorrow continue, keep this in the fridge and tomorrow you can continue in doing the filling. Okay, let's jump to the filling. Let's use the time that the dough is resting and do our filling. You're gonna need 150 grams of pork loin mince, 150 grams of mortadella finely chopped, 75 grams of prosciutto di Parma, again, finely chopped. 125 grams of Parmigiano Reggiano grated. 1 egg. Some ground nutmeg. And some kosher salt. Okay, so let's start doing the filling. So the first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna get a bigger bowl and put all the ingredients in that bowl. The pork, mortadella, the prosciutto, the parmesan, some of the salt, the ground nutmeg, and before adding the egg, you mix these really well. Now you add the egg and mix all over again. After mixing everything, you put in a food processor and try to create a paste. After 30 minutes of resting and the filling is ready, now it's time for us to open the dough. Keep in mind that the moment this process starts, you're racing against time here, because the more contact to the air the dough takes, the more dry it gets. So that's why it's important for you to open sheet by sheet and making the filling sheet by sheet. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do that. So let's start doing. I have here my attachment on my KitchenAid, so this is the way I do. You can use a manual one or you can use a rolling pin. Of course, the rolling pin will be way more work. So let's open the dough. And with pasta scraper, let's just get a little bit of this. Cover the rest, leave it here. And now I'm going to start open. So I'm going open first on the widest settings here, the number 1. And then after that, I'm going to start making these more thinner. So let's go. As you can see here, the dough is semi-transparent. I can see my fingers in the back. Of course, you never use your nails on the dough. You just use the back of your hands. And now what you're gonna do, you're gonna use bench scraper, a knife with a ruler, or just those classic Italian tools to cut dough, and make little 4-inch squares of the dough. So here's how you do your tortellinis. You grab one of those squares, and then you put a little bit more than a half teaspoon or almost like a full teaspoon of it in the middle. Then you grab a little bit of water and just one side. You put this and then you go and close it. It's gonna be super tight, so keep that in mind. And then again, another pinch of water here, and booyah! You have your tortellini. Okay, so let's do with these ones that I open here. And then pretty much these ball of dough, you can have something around 75 tortellini. So do it this way, open some, do the tortellinis, then you do the rest. One of the good things of the tortellini, and something that I do a lot, I put these into a baking sheet and put in the freezer overnight so it dries out, so I can frozen these without breaking itself. But if you're not doing that, you can leave these overnight, cover with a towel to really dry out, and then you have a dry pasta. Okay, let me roll out these and then you're gonna try it. So here's our tortellini. I also put in here chicken broth that I made before, which could be, if you guys wanted something on the Pantry 101 series, so please let me know in the comments if you like this. So now let's try it to see how this tastes. It's just like a tortellini that you can eat in a very good restaurant, very good classic Italian restaurant. The good thing that I have these at home, so I don't need to go to a restaurant. The good thing that you can do this at home, so it's very easy to do. I ended up having 75, something a little bit more actually, so pretty much just on point what the book said. Now I'm going to freeze these. You can do the same. Again, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to leave your comments, to like the video. So your support is very important for me to keep pushing this channel more and more and more. I hope you guys enjoy it. See you next time. Bye.